Hi there, this is Ronnie coming at you with an update for the RPG that I'm running at Settlers in Hamilton. For those who haven't seen the previous videos, I am running a horror game using the True 20 system. The name of the game that I'm running, the title of the scenario, is Wherein Lies Ruthless Compassion. And we've had 2 sessions so far, and I thought I'd do a quick video update. So, this is my first time using the True 20 system, and I have to say I'm enjoying it so far. I'm finding the system very easy to run. The fact that it only uses the D20 keeps the mechanics down, which is nice. I'm using the rules because I have the revised edition. It has the rules for running horror games at the back of the book, and it has a fear check system in it, which is nice. It works very well. It works identically to the toughness save. You can have your sanity as a separate save, but one of the options, and it's the option that I went for, is literally just to make the save a willpower save. And that works fine. Everyone's quite happy with that. Well, I say everyone's happy about it. Everyone understands it. I don't think my players are very happy. I think they're enjoying the game, but I'll get onto that in a second. The mechanics are very good. We're 2 sessions in, and it's played for about 7 hours, and this may come as a shocker to people, but I haven't had a combat in it yet. Because it's more of an investigation and a sort of slow burn horror rather than action. The other thing that's been a challenge, and an interesting challenge for me, and I think as the story goes on and becomes darker, it's going to be more of a challenge, is the fact that this is being run in a gaming cafe. It's a public place on a Sunday afternoon, and most, if not all, the Sundays in there's some sort of tournament or event going on whilst the role playing is going on as well. Sometimes it's Magic or Yu-Gi-Oh or Pokemon. This Sunday it's going to be Blood Bowl. So there are a lot of children around. There's a lot of kids, a lot of young kids around. So I, as a GM, can't be particularly explicit with description. I have to suggest and hint rather than show, and hope that the players sort of do the work for me. So it's a little different. It's a challenge, and I'm enjoying that. The essence of the game for me was the main horror role-playing game that I use is Cult, and Cult is great, but it also has some fairly full-on artwork, including the front cover, and I really didn't feel that it was appropriate, given that it was a public place where kids might be, to have Cult around, especially as I personally have no one under 18s playing it. So I wanted to do a game, the kind of game that I would run using Cult, but using True 20 instead, and sort of dialing it back a bit. The storyline is moving very well. I think one of the problems that's arisen isn't with the scenario so much. What we have are 4 characters in the game. We have essentially a kind of rich son of a diplomat. He's come into the second session. Son of a diplomat who has an interest in the occult. We also have, and he's turned up in this town, this town of Chesterfield, Mississippi, because he's heard it's one of the most haunted places in Mississippi. You don't know the half of it. We also have a Special Forces sniper who hilariously does not have the notice skill, which has been quite an ongoing kind of ongoing laugh, because she's not very good at noticing the sometimes blatantly obvious, because her character just she keeps failing her role. And she's there because she's looking for an old army buddy. Then we have a guy who is a conspiracy nut who has been talking to some people on the web, and they've been saying about the fact that this town just there seems to be something up with this town. It's a town that you don't get the best cell reception, you don't get the best internet access, no major franchise of any kind, shops, stores, coffee shops, restaurants, fast food or otherwise, have ever gone into this town. So they find that very odd, and he's went down there to have a look at things. And then we have a detective who's come down from the local, from the city, and he's come in to investigate a murder. So they've all kind of moved in from different directions, and sort of putting them together has been interesting. One of the characters, however, I think is really one of the players is really struggling, and I think one of the problems is because it's not an action game, and they're used to action games. I think he's feeling out of his depth. I have put on sort of the Facebook page where everyone talks about this, looking for feedback from my players, and 2 of my players so far have written back saying they're really enjoying the scenario, which is good. Not heard back from this guy yet, so I'm a little worried that maybe he's feeling out of his depth. The problem that I have with it is that I've given him no end of leads and clues and all the rest of it. He's actually witnessed some of the strange phenomena that's going on. But it's not really engaging, and I don't know what to do about that. I'm interested to see what's happening there. I might sort of direct message him on Facebook and find out whether he's feeling comfortable with the scenario or not. I worry that maybe he's looking to be hand-fed the scenario, and it's not something as a GM that I do. I kind of assume the players are smart enough to at least follow a line of inquiry, or at least follow enough to get the next clue that might make them go to the next clue and the next clue. I don't expect them to sort of, aha, I know who it is. I expect them to at least, be able to move from A to B to C to D. It's not to say that the scenario is in any way a railroad. But, one piece of evidence should allow them to sort of look, and they might find other bits of evidence, and that allow them to maybe find, if they go along, they might find other bits of evidence and so on. I think also the fact, I think they're expecting a gore fest, and it's not going to happen. It's much more, in terms of tone and atmosphere, I'm going for something, albeit there is a supernatural edge on it. I'm going for something akin to the Wicker Man. The original, not the terrible remake, where I want to have the game where it's more it's more, it's not overt. There's just something, there's just an atmosphere. It's nothing tangible. It's just something. And obviously, as the idea is that they'll investigate more and they'll find out more about what's going on. The atmosphere will become cloying. And should they sort of make a mistake, then they will find the supernatural forces coming up against them. But I'm going really for slow burn, and I'm not sure whether. And the thing is, I did explain that to them, so you know, it's not like I sold it as a big action horror and then they're going slow. We'll find out. It's going to be interesting, I think, to see how the game progresses. I'm intrigued to see how session 3 happens. As I say, Sunday afternoon is a very odd time to do a role-playing game in a shop, and it being a horror scenario. But I like the challenge. I like the system. I can see me using it again. I'm kind of tempted to run something with Savage Worlds at some point very soon, just to give that another kick. The next game I'm going to run, however, will be Castle Falkenstein. I did run it in the shop for Free RPG Day, and I think people enjoyed that, but I really want to show the game flexing its muscles properly. And that requires me to do a proper scenario for it, rather than just a little one-shot, which I was never. I mean, it was all right for what it was, but it was wasn't the kind of fun game that I enjoy doing for Falkenstein. So it'll be good to do. I enjoyed that. So I'll do that next. The way it's looking is that this game is going to stop round about Halloween, maybe just slightly after, which means it's looking like my Falkenstein game will be Christmas, and I'm rather tempted to make it festive. So yeah, I think something festive themed would seem appropriate for Falkenstein this time round. I've done a festive one before, but it was very much a one-shot, and I really want to expand on it. So that's next on the agenda. But right now, Wherein Lies Ruthless Compassion is working out fairly well. I do worry that one of my players is starting to feel out of his depth. But we'll work on that. So I just wanted to put this update out there, and I'll be back soon with another video.